Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to RAMP, Real Access Motivates Progress, live Wednesday night podcast. I know you all have not seen my face on this podcast for the last 4 weeks, but I want to thank my co-sponsor and co-host, Diana Perkins, who is now Diana Kamada because she was married last week. We are so excited for that. So I am back, and we are talking tonight. Accessibility is beautiful. We are exactly 1 month out, and we hope you all can join us next week. In 1 month, September 10th is the date. So have everybody with me tonight. We are talking all things accessibility is beautiful tonight. So welcome my guests. Hello, everybody, and thank you for coming on the show tonight.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks for having us, Tina.
Thank you, Tina.
I'm going to start off by having you each go around and introduce yourself. We'll start with you, Miss Diana Kamada, the newlywed.
Hi, Tina. Thanks for having me. Some people might recognize me from the last couple of weeks. I was filling in for Tina, but I gotta say, it's much better to be back on this side of the camera, so to speak. I am glad to have you back. I am a RAMP board member, and I am also the CEO and founder of Include Design, a product design company that makes products for people with disabilities.
Thank you, Diana. Sally, how about you?
Well, good evening, everybody. I'm Sally Turner. I'm the development director over at the Steel Yard in Providence. And we are so delighted to host the second annual Accessibility is Beautiful event coming up on September 10th. We've also been working very closely with Tina to create accessible picnic tables that are going to be soon installed in the public realm. And Tina was also a consultant for us when we renovated our industrial arts studio a couple of years ago. So we're really excited that she chose the Steel Yard once again to host her event.
Oh, we are excited to be there. And Todd, how about introducing yourself to everybody?
Sure, of course. My name is Todd Trebor. I work at the Rhode Island State Council on the Arts. I'm the organization's program director there and the accessibility coordinator. So I'm responsible for our grants to organizations and other kinds of supports they might need at that particular piece of the arts and culture ecosystem, as well as accessibility education and issues and other topics at the arts agency as well. I am coming into you from Providence in an old Victorian building without very good air conditioning, so I will be dabbing sweat from my brow occasionally with a towel, just to give you all a warning.
It's all good. Thank you for joining us tonight, Todd. Yeah. So let's get into it. Let's talk accessibility is beautiful too. Last year was just such a huge success, and we are so excited this year we have doubled size, because not only are we using the venue of the Steel Yard, but we have also partnered with Farm Fresh. We have over 100 vendors there as well. Plus, the street will be lined with food vendors for all their snack needs. Diana, do you want to tell us a little bit more about what we have different this year than we did last year?
Sure. So as Tina mentioned, we've about doubled in size with the Farm Fresh, the Steel Yard, and everybody else. We've got about 150 vendors you guys can look forward to. Local artists, businesses with products to sell you, food vendors, all kinds of great stuff. We've got some awesome entertainment coming up this year. Organized by the fabulous Marin. We've got some bands, we've got some spoken word poetry, we've got some theater groups, we've got some individual performers. Should be an awesome time. We've got some speakers, so from 3 to 4 there will be the speaking portion of the evening where our congressmen, our senators, our local business officials will all be giving you a little speech. And we've also got a new aspect this year is the Kids Corner. So last year we didn't have anything specifically for children, but of course the event is family friendly for all ages. This year, thanks to Access Point Rhode Island, We have a special kids corner with games and a face painter and some prizes. So come on by and bring the whole family.
Yeah, we are so excited this year because that Kids Corner, and when we say face painter, we mean a face artist because it's not going to be the little decoration on cheek. I mean, they paint the entire face and it's all free. That is the important thing. This is a network event, it's a vendor event, it's a family vendor event, but it's free. So that way you can come out and network with some great people, meet a lot of people in the disability community, find out how much in common that you have, and just have a great time. Dancing, singing, poetry, all this amazing stuff is going to be happening. We're also going to have some raffle baskets, and we're going to have some cool t-shirts on sale, all to support and to keep our initiatives going, because we want to actually support the Steelyard, because we want to get as many of those picnic tables out there as possible. Sally, can you give us a little bit more of what our partnership has been like with the Steelyard and about tables and manufacturing, how people can get their hands on one of those?
Get their hands on one of those picnic tables. So actually our partnership with RAMP, with Tina, started, oh gosh, Tina, when was it? 2018, 2019, with support from the Rhode Island State Council on the Arts. Thank you very much, Todd. We were able to undergo a $2.7 million restoration of our 100-year-old industrial art facility, Providence Steel and Iron Company. It's been a working industrial art studio for that 100 plus years, but we had no air conditioning. Well, we still don't have air conditioning, but we had no heat. Our power system was ancient. You'd unplug one thing to plug in another, and it was not accessible. So we met Tina, and Tina very graciously and quite happily, I might add, offered to consult with us, to take a look while we were working with the architects and the engineers to really ensure accessibility in our plans and in our construction, which she did very successfully, along with a couple of other very generous people who really guided us. We like to call it universal accessibility, so that when we renovated the shop, we didn't do so in a way that really calls out any sort of physical difference between any of the tools or the equipment from one art studio to another. There are ramps that that lead right up to accessible restrooms, and our workforce job training program also built the ramp that goes from the campus and into the building. So that started this relationship. And as I said, the Rhode Island State Council on the Arts was one of the first funders to actually sort of kick off this restoration. And recently we received more funding from the Rhode Island State Council of the Arts, so that our administrative building will also become accessible, so that all of the buildings that the Steelyard operates from are accessible from our 3.8 acre inner campus. So this is how the relationship started, and it's only gotten more dynamic from there. We recently unveiled what we call Tina's Table. So Tina came in and she helped us to design these beautiful accessible picnic tables, where when everybody is at the table, everybody looks like they're in a wheelchair. They're really artistic. They're really beautifully designed. They even have a hook for your service animal. And people are, oh, look, there's a hook for my pocketbook. No, that's for your service animal. And we had an unveiling about a month ago downtown with the mayor. We had Stephen Pryor, the head of Rhode Island Commerce, and a number of other dignitaries join us. So we'll soon be launching actually, we've already launched the fabrication of a series of these tables, and working with the city of Providence, we'll soon be identifying public spaces for the installation of those picnic tables throughout the city. So we're really excited to be a part of this. It really, I think, is going to help to launch a whole line of publicly accessible artistic street amenities, which is part of the business of the Steel Yard. We design, manufacture, and install public art amenities throughout the state of Rhode Island. We hire local artists, and we really help to build that arts economy while really promoting that universal accessibility. I also
And
want to
you do such a great, I just want to interrupt you for 1 second, because you also have the first wheelchair accessible potty wheel, and I was your first wheelchair welding student in the building. I actually welded on Tina's table. So the nice part about the Steel Yard is you can weld, you can do ceramics, you can do jewelry. There is no place in the Steel Yard where, no matter what your ability is, you can fit right in, because I have used it all, and you can sign up for the classes. And that's why I love the Steel Yard so much.
What's very, very exciting is that we just received a grant from the Paul V. Sherlock Disability Center at Rhode Island College to launch our very first disability scholarship program. So, we built it, and Tina has certainly come in and used it, but we haven't had a lot of other folks with disabilities come to take advantage of all the Steel Yard studios have to offer. So you bet I'm going to call on you, Tina, to ensure that these scholarships get promoted, and I know that you will. So thanks.
Oh, well, a great place to promote that is where the disability community will be out in full force. So it'd be a great day. So I'm looking forward to that. Todd, let's get into, your name keeps coming up. Let's get into your piece of the action on what you helped out with.
Well, it's the royal we, certainly, in terms of what was helped with. I work at a really wonderful agency with a group of amazing, caring and talented people who care about the arts and culture ecosystem, and happy to support organizations like the Steel Yard and their work that they do to be more accessible to their community. So one of the things that Sally mentioned was the ways in which RISCA has supported the Steel Yard and their capital projects and improvements to their space to be more accessible, and in some cases to be more green as well. The agency, before I arrived there, years before I arrived there, the arts and culture community came together and advocated for a cultural facilities bond. That bond was passed in 2015, and it allowed for organizations to receive grants to improve their spaces. And many of those improvements were accessibility in focus. We all know, we live in New England, we live in buildings that are quite old, and there were issues that they wanted to address and certainly needed to address too, as many of them are recipients of NEA grants, National Endowment for the Arts grants, which requires ADA accessibility, and that's also a requirement for programmatic spaces for any grants that we give out to organizations as well. So that's one way that we have been a part of the conversation and continue to be a part of the conversation. Another cultural facilities fund bond was passed, I believe, in 2020 or 2021, and that has allowed for other improvements to be made, such as the one that Sally was referring to around making their board spaces and office spaces more accessible as well. The other thing I do, or we do at RISCA, so we are charged with ensuring that the public has access to arts and culture programs. Equity and access is one of our primary values as an agency. It was our #1 value that came out of our strategic planning process. So we and me, through my work as the accessibility coordinator, have been providing programming in partnership with Arts Equity Rhode Island and Janine Chartier there, specific to the arts and culture community and organizations in that community around how they can be more accessible to their communities and to their audiences. We offered a few workshops in the spring. We're offering some more in the fall. We are working together with Janine Chartier at Arts Equity Rhode Island to build a accessibility task force and committee that will guide our work. And we're also developing a resource page that I will definitely be reaching out to Tina about in terms of things to put on there and how to improve it as well.
Oh, I can always tell you what to put on there. Everything inclusive. I'm very good about that. I am just so excited. with everything going on in our partnership with the Steel Yard, we couldn't pick a better place for this event because, one of the biggest things that I hear a lot is, people don't want to put ramps out because they're ugly. Well, I'll tell you, you don't even see the ramps at the Steel Yard. They are so beautiful and well decorated that the Steel Yard can decorate any ramp that you put out there. So if that's your mindset, I mean, I don't think so, but if that's your mindset, the Steel Yard can add to that and they can make them beautiful for you. And then you add one of the beautiful Tina's tables that is, I'll tell you, we put it out at PVD Fest and Diana and I sat out there and that table was not empty the entire weekend. Diana, I mean, a little bit about how
Sorry, you broke up a little, Tina. Tell a little bit about how people what?
About PVD Fest, how the table was so welcomed and utilized during PVD Fest.
Yeah, so PVD Fest was awesome this year. Ramp was the accessibility coordinator for the entire event, and it went off really well. We had Tina's tables there from the Steel Yard, as well as 2 different tables, one for visitor information related to accessibility and one for information more specific to Ramp. Tina and I and my lovely new husband were there to sit at the tables during the whole weekend, and we saw hundreds of wheelchair users. I think Tina counted like 200 and some. And we had Tina's tables right near our table, and people were using them all weekend. Wheelchair users and non-disabled individuals alike were sitting at the tables and enjoying them. They are comfortable, they are stylish, and they are a great size to be able to allow parties of various sizes to sit comfortably and talk. And people were just really enjoying them. We actually had to, just get extra tables at some point because they were just always full.
Yeah, I mean, it was so great, with us being partnered with the city of Providence this year and being a part of PVD Fest, so many wheelchair users and mobility device users came out of the woodwork because they knew with Ramp leading the charge that it was going to actually be accessible because most of the people that I work with are disabled, are in wheelchairs. So we assess things, we go out and we check them out. So they came out. So business, outdoor space, accessible, they will come. We have money. Diane, what is the money that people with disabilities has to spend?
The money that disability users has to spend, is that what you said?
Yes.
So it varies person to person, of course. Some wheelchair users are able to work traditional jobs. Some work in traditional-esque jobs but are paid sub-minimum wage, though luckily that is being phased out in most states in the US. And some rely on SSDI, which is Social Security Disability Insurance. And the average payment is about $2,000 per month. So not what most of us might consider to be a reasonable living wage. But unfortunately, the government powers that be have decided that that is the appropriate average amount for most users, and that goes up or down depending on various life circumstances. But it's really important for us to have our offerings and our events be free and open to the public at no charge, so that disabled individuals of all socioeconomic backgrounds can participate.
Yeah, because I'll tell you, wheelchair users, mobility disabled people, they go out to eat. They go out and buy things they want to have, stylish clothing. I know I'm one who likes to have great shoes because nobody can complain. I have them forever, never wear out because I don't actually like them. So no one can say how much I can spend on my shoes. So we have money to spend, but we need to make the access. So that's what accessibility is all about. It's teaching the business community why it's so important to let in the 40% of Rhode Islanders that use mobility aids on a daily basis. Yes, I said that right. 40% of Rhode Islanders use a mobility aid, whether it's temporarily or permanently. So if you are not accessible, you are alienating 40% of the population. And what you're also alienating is their friends and family because no place to gather with. So let us help you be affordably accessible. Let's help you utilize tax breaks that are already on the thing because it's $15,000 a year you can get back just by doing ADA compliant stuff to your business. And we will guide you and hold your hand and walk you through every step of the process affordably and exactly only what you need. Sally, how has that worked out for you with becoming accessible? What is the jive for everybody from last year? How many tours? And we're so excited to see how accessible it was last year.
Did you ask me that, Tina? I'm sorry, you faded out.
Yes, I asked you that, Sally.
What was it? What was the question again? How excited were people?
Oh, how excited was everybody last year when they had the tours through the Steel Yard and that they knew that they could access every avenue of Steel Yard?
Oh, I mean, people have been very, very excited. I think that the key right now has been, over the past probably 16 months, the Steel Yard has moved forward in not just physical accessibility, but economic accessibility as well. So really eliminating fees for artist residents, having scholarships and sliding scale for anyone. And I think especially now with people being so excited with the universal, again, universal accessibility that our studio provides, knowing that they can come and take a course now for little to no money, and quite anonymously. Everybody has access from every conceivable point that we can provide. So we're really excited this year, again, especially with the increased size of the Accessibility is Beautiful event. I will be hosting tours, yours truly. It's one of the things I love to do. I might have to fight Howie, our executive director, over it, but nonetheless. So we'll be providing tours throughout the day to everyone of the studio. And I'd like to see if maybe we can get a couple of demonstrations in there of people actually using the accessibility equipment. Maybe I could talk you into coming on in, Tina, and taking that pottery wheel for a spin.
Oh, I cannot wait. And I'll tell you, I will throw that welding gear on at any time.
You look good in that. You looked good in those. You looked good in those leathers. You really did. And we have the,
yeah, I did. And the helmet fit my crown perfectly because I had my crown on and my welding hat on. So you know what? It fits it all. You can be a queen and still wear the gear. And I'll tell you, welding was like my favorite thing to do. It was so exciting. Todd, give us a little bit more of why it's so important for businesses to become accessible and events to make sure they're looking at physical accessibility.
Yeah, sure. I mean, from our perspective as a state agency and just as human beings, we want to ensure that everyone in our communities can have access to arts and cultural experiences, or have access, in the case of businesses, have access to one's business. Many of the things also that businesses or arts and culture organizations or the physical improvements that have been made to spaces after the ADA in general have been supported by a lot of state and federal funding. Those are improvements that everyone's benefited from. Things such as curb cuts is kind of the easiest one that many of us encounter on a regular basis. So by making their business more accessible, certainly it's going to be helpful for your business in terms of providing everyone in your community access to it. But also, again, these are things that are just beneficial for everyone. And isn't it wonderful to aspire to live in a world where everyone can freely participate? Certainly, it's a requirement of democracy. It's a requirement of a functioning society. So to me, it's obviously very critical and pivotal to the health of our communities and the health of our world more broadly.
Yeah, and it's also just the right thing to do. Because I'll tell you, if you're not accessible, you are missing out on some amazing people. Because if I get to your place, you're missing out on me. And I know there's a lot more incredible people just like me, that all is just access your business to spend our money that we have, spend it, locally, to be involved and to get part of community as well. It's just so important for that community to bond together. I can't stress it enough. Diane, tell everybody why they should register for Accessibility is Beautiful. Give us your biggest plug of why they should register this year.
So every business owner in the state of Rhode Island and anywhere around should be registering for this event, because we are going to tell you how to make your business accessible affordably. And it is so important because, like Tina said, in Rhode Island, about 40% of the population uses a mobility aid, but even nationwide, the average is 26% of Americans have some form of disability. So if you don't make your business accessible, you have to be willing to lose every fourth customer that would walk or roll through your doors. And even though a lot of wheelchair users who live on SSDI and have limited income, a lot of them also, in general, we have a lot of money to spend. The total disposable income for working age people with disability in the US is $490 billion. So in order to get, your cut of that big well of money, you gotta be accessible. And if you come to Accessibility is Beautiful, we can help you out and introduce you to some awesome people and businesses that can help you on your accessibility journey.
Yeah, and for every business that registers and shows up, they get put into a raffle, and they'll get to win a custom ramp built just for their restaurant. We just in May, actually the week of the table unveiling, we finally got the ramp for our first business, and they were so excited. It was Executive Cuts down in Providence. So now she can let in people of all abilities that can come right into her business and, cut the hair and everything. And she was so excited. So you and your business could be the next winner of a free customized to your business. All you do is show up and come on down and visit. And we're going to have artists of jewelry making, painters, book writers. There's nothing, vendors there that you can't think of that we're not going to have there. With over 150 vendors, you're going to find something that you like. I'm sure of it. And you're going to meet some amazing people while you're at the process. So if you go and click on the link that is in the comments, you will be able to register for the free event. Make sure you register, because there is a limited amount of space that we can fit in the yard at one time, and you don't want to miss out. So make sure you go and register on the link that is below in the comments to get that done. Sally, give us your best reason why people should come and register for this event.
Well, people should come and register for this event because it's all about justice, right? It's all about a just economy. It's all about just accessibility. And it's all about art. I mean, come on, the Steel Yard throws some pretty fabulous parties. And with Tina by our side, that fabulousness is going to probably be magnified by quite a few times. The street's going to be shut down. You're going to be introduced to a neighborhood that is just emerging as a cultural hub, down in the Industrial Valley, this historic neighborhood of Providence. The Steel Yard, if you've never been there, has a really particular vibe to it that you just can't describe with words. And I'm a writer until you go and you visit it. And now that it is fully accessible, it makes it even more amazing. I mean, we put in, not only did we design our restrooms to be accessible, we hired artists to come in and actually create ceramics on the walls in those restrooms. So we made sure that, yes, our access, like the name of this event, is beautiful. It's artistic, it's creative. You've never seen anything like it before. businesses who come and join us for this event will absolutely have at their disposal, the type of consulting and information that you'd otherwise probably have to spend a fairly significant amount of money to receive. And then we'll have families, we'll have people in the neighborhood, anything that educates people about accessibility and how important it is, to me, is really about doing that kind of justice. And as Todd referred to it, just being human. But again, as Tina said, if you really want to improve your bottom line in business, and I'm a development director, so I know all about the bottom line. If you really want to improve your bottom line, you are going to make your business more accessible, and you're going to take this free opportunity to learn how to do that.
Yeah, and as we always say, representation is everything. Disability is the largest minority in this country. It is the only minority that doesn't discriminate across the board. And it is the only minority that anyone can join at any time. We're all one accident, one diagnosis, or one day away from becoming in the disability community. It's not a negative thing. If everything is accessible and everything is beautiful, it's not a negative thing. It's another mountain to climb over. And trust me, I am no stranger to climbing over mountains. It's just one more bump in the road, but it's going to be easier when everything is accessible along the way. Todd, give us your best plea of why everybody should register for this wonderful event from your perspective.
I mean, just to get a tour of the Steel Yard from the fantastic Sally Turner alone is certainly worth it. And I imagine that you and a crown there, Tina, will be just the cherry on top. I don't have much more to add because Sally really, I think, laid it out all very nicely. But I will say that it's been remarkable to see. I've only been in Rhode Island for 4 years, and it's been really 4 amazing years, despite 2 of them being incredibly challenging. But to see how the Steel Yard has developed over time and how that neighborhood has developed over time, as Sally put it, to be a cultural hub. The grounds of the Steel Yard are awesome and fun. And it would be a huge disservice to not get out there just to see them, certainly. And I think to just the point of the conversation, to have the ability to attend a free event and network and meet other people, particularly after the time that we've had and that we're continuing to have, is just such a gift. And I think for us to take this moment to, as a society and as individuals and as groups of individuals, to think about what we want our future world to be like. And we want it to be a beautiful one where access is a primary and critical value.
Yeah, I mean, it's so true. I mean, the event is free. It is family friendly. It's a networking event. All businesses have to pay a lot of money to get the information they're going to get free of charge at this event. You're going to get tours of the city. You are going to get to meet almost every politician that is running for an office at some point during the day. The lieutenant governor, all the congressmen and senators, some business owners and everything are all going to be there to speak. But every politician that is running for some kind of office is stopping by. They have all confirmed they are all coming by. So here's your opportunity to talk to your future politicians or your future leaders of what you're looking for. So here's another opportunity of why it's important and why you need to come down. I mean, the vibe at the event last year was so uplifting and so exciting and so vibrant that political lines didn't matter. Everybody got along. Everybody talked to one another. There was such a good vibe in the yard, and we just want to double that in size like we did for the event itself. And we want you to come down. Like I said, there'll be some raffle prizes that you can do. We'll have t-shirts on sale for only $10, but that just helps the cause. Representation is everything. You'll get to check out Tina's table. You'll get to sit and feel what it feels like to sit at a table in unison. I was so sick of waiting to be invited to other people's table to have my say. I created my own. Now everybody wants to sit at my table. My table is more beautiful on the outside as it is, as when you're sitting around it, collaborating on something. So again, click the link below, make sure you're registering for this event. You do not want to miss out. I had so many people who missed out last year and they were so disappointed. Do not miss out. September 10th, 2 to 7 at the Steel Yard, 27 Sims Avenue. Also, Farm Fresh is part of this as well. Sims Avenue will be closed down. Amazing food vendors. So you can eat great food. You can visit artists. You can see the Steel Yard. You can see me. And oh, by the way, I was gone for 4 weeks because I was getting ready for my pageant. And I just want to inform you all, in case you don't know by now, I actually won. I was the first person of disability to ever compete, and I actually won. So you'll get to come get a big, beautiful crown and sash as the only person of disability to do this. So barriers can be broken, things can be done. It's all about yourself and what you think. Close words, Diana. Anything that you want to say to our guests?
Don't forget to come to Accessibility is Beautiful and get to meet the wonderful Tina.
Sally, any final words for our guests?
There are only good vibes at the Steel Yard, and also, you know, in our new Sims Avenue neighborhood. So you really have to believe it to see it. So please join us.
Todd, any final words?
I think if for no other reason, it's going to be clearly a lot of fun. So that's a great reason to attend, despite all the other ones that you have already.
Well, thank you, so much for joining us. I appreciate your time being here tonight, and appreciate your time when everybody will get to meet all of you at the Accessibility is Beautiful on September 10th from 2 to 7 at the Steel Yard. So thank you guys so much for taking the time and joining me tonight.
Thank you, Tina.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So again, I want to tell everybody I am back. We will have another show next week. We are talking everything with accessibility in real estate with the amazing Melissa Baker Wednesday night. So make sure you tune in for that. But again, make sure you get the link below and register for Accessibility is Beautiful. I can't stress it enough. You don't know what you don't know until you don't know it. So let us take away the unknown and let's make it affordably accessible. You will be shocked at how easy it is to become accessible and inclusive and raise your bottom line just by letting more people in. So as I always say, don't just sit there, make a difference. See you all next week. Have a great night.
I'm Chaz Kalenda, and I'm running to be the next Rhode Island Attorney General. I practiced law for the last 16 years, 12 of them in the office of the Attorney General, so I have the knowledge and experience to do that job at a high level. I'm not here to fight for a political agenda. I'm not here to fight for a special interest. I'm here to fight for the rights of every Rhode Islander, no matter where you come from or no matter what your background is. I'll need your votes on September 13th for the primary election and November 8th for the general election. If you have any questions about where to vote or how to vote, please contact your local Board of Canvassers or the Secretary of State's office or website. I'm not running to be just another politician. I'm running to be a public servant who can serve as a much-needed check and balance on the state of Rhode Island to root out the corruption both inside and outside of our system. We need your support. You can visit my website at chas4ag.com to learn more about me, donate, or volunteer your time. I'm Chaz Kalenda, and I approve this message.
To take home the Golden Gloves, you've got to put in the work, and you've got to be tough as nails. Ashley Kalis was driven to achieve. Today, Kalis is still fueled by that same hope, grit, and determination. A mother of 3 school-aged boys and successful business owner who ran testing and vaccination sites across the state. Kalis is the fighter Rhode Island needs right now because it's time for a change. Ashley Kalis for governor.